for how long?
Well, I've owned this place for a little over a year. Well, I guess I'm going on 2 years now.
Okay. But a long-term employee.
Yeah, I used
owner.
to manage the previous store. I managed it for about 11 years. And then when the owner needed to move on, I made an offer.
Awesome. And what you started here what was like the inspiration to even come in here in the first place to get a job? I mean, did you just need a gig and...
Yeah, well, I needed a gig, sure, but I have a very strong retail background.
Okay.
And I'm most comfortable in retail jobs. I was actually working not far from here doing like renovation stuff. And it was fine, and it was a paycheck, but you know, I came in here, my wife and she was my girlfriend at the time, we would come in here on the weekends to shop.
Okay.
Just shop and hang out, and I would talk to the owner. And I asked her if she was hiring several times before she offered me a position.
Really?
She just kept saying
was
no.
Was it one of those places that they had like her and one other part-timer and that was it?
No, she always had a big staff.
She did?
She always had about 6 people on.
That's a lot for a store like that.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And the turnover wasn't that high.
Okay.
But the funny thing was that she tried to hire my wife first.
She did?
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to choose, I'd make that choice. Yeah. And so she tried hard to get my wife to work here.
That's funny. Did she know you as well?
Yeah,
But
we had been getting to know each other from coming in and shopping. And then one weekend I was here. I remember I was kind of over here. I was bent down looking at a book on the shelf.
Right.
She was in her office and she saw me and she came out. She's like, "Hey, are you still looking for a job?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You want to do an interview?" And
wow.
Just went and did an interview. And
right on the spot?
Right on the spot.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
she
awesome.
did say I gave her one of the best interviews she's ever
really
taken in her career. Yeah.
And you always know. I always say like when the interview turns to a discussion, there's no interview anymore. You got the job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we can talk about this when we do the interview, but I'm a firm believer in synchronicity and synergy, and your path. Like if you look at the arbitrary nature of so-called arbitrary nature of you guys just coming in here and how your life unfolded, none of it was a mistake. None of it was an accident. It was all meant to be. You know what I mean? Because look where you are now.
Right.
Look at this place. It's awesome. Yeah. There's a movie called Follow Me Boys with Fred McMurray. It's Walt Disney's last live-action film. And it's kind of that premise. He's on the road. He's with this band. It's a 40s swing band. And he wants to go to school to be a lawyer. And he's reading his law books. And he's just getting burned out on the lifestyle. And he tells his manager, he's like, "Look, the first town we get to, I'm out of here." And it was just a nice story because it was seemingly an arbitrary random town that he gets dropped off at. Now, obviously it's a movie, so it's a controlled script, but it happens to all of us. You know, you're just like, you wanted the job, she didn't hire you, she wanted your wife, and then before you know it, she's like, "Hey, she had that inkling that she should talk to you." And she did. Yeah. And now look, you're all in the place.
Now here I am.
So now products here with the cafe, it was always a cafe or was it a bookstore?
So it was a bookstore first.
Okay.
She ended up taking the cafe on after she opened. Somebody in town was getting rid of an espresso machine and some equipment, and they offered it to her, and so that she added it.
Just like we were just saying.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's a really nice machine, actually, too.
Oh, that's not the original machine.
Oh,
the
it's
original
not?
machine died.
Okay.
No,
And then this is yours?
well, actually, this was the last machine that she had. I think it was her third or fourth machine. It is well maintained, so that's why it's in as good shape as it is.
Yeah, it's really nice, actually. And then product selection for like your coffee, it runs the gamut?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you can get a coffee drinks elsewhere, I can probably duplicate it.
Oh, that's cool. So you have enough experience making them?
Yeah, after 11 years, definitely. Yeah. I wasn't a coffee drinker.
Oh, you weren't?
No, not at all. And I prefer regular coffee to espresso. I don't have espresso very often.
Right.
Occasionally I'll want a latte or something.
Do you guys do any type of food here as well?
We're starting to get into that.
Okay.
Right now we have pastry that we offer, and we have a very limited lunch menu.
Okay.
It's basically soups.
Right.
And I do plan by the end of February to move into panini, something like that.
Yeah, they're perfect, actually. I go, and the town itself, your location's perfect.
Yeah.
You're like smack dab in the middle of Perry.
Yep.
And we'll talk about how Perry, I think, the resurgence here, and this is a great example of a town that's just like percolating. And it's just right at that, like, you've seen, I know Hamburg's more of a suburb of Buffalo, but the resurgence of that town, or what happened with East Aurora, Perry's right there. Geneseo being around here too is a good affiliation to have this network of beautiful, really well thought out, well crafted towns. Because at this point, that's what you're doing.
Yep.
You're crafting a lifestyle here in this town.
And we're all connected, these towns, by the park.
Yes.
Yeah,
and the overflow on that's going to be huge, I would imagine. So now the store itself is fantastic, and it really, like I told you when I first found it, I was like, I got to call him because there's no way I want to let this go. It's a beautiful store, and to me, from what I know of Perry, Geneseo, this whole region, this is the type of store that's indicative of where things are going. This isn't the old bookstore, musty, dirty books on the shelves, and there's 3 cats running around the book, which is fine, but and I like those places.
Sure. Yeah.
But this is the future. If you're going to do a bookstore now, you want it to look like this. You want it to be this type of engaging, well thought out atmosphere, which you did, and that was your intent, right?
Yeah.
So now kids' books got to be huge, because you're in a town that beckons walking.
Yep.
So, and they're right on the front stoop here, really.
They're basically half the store,
so
for the most part.
And now, as far as product selection goes, you tailor this. This is your taste. I mean, you're a curator.
Pretty much.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And you have 2 kids, so it's perfect for you, right? Do you vet them?
Yeah.
Through the kids? Sometimes you're like, check out this new series and see.
Actually, the kids' books are easy to vet when you're receiving them, because they're, 60 pages at the most.
That's true. You can blow through them and get a good read, and then carry them. Now, on the back side, these are still, yes or no?
Well, YA, this is the YA section.
Okay. And we were just talking about that too, like YA is like kind of the thing now, right? Now, historical fiction is really big with kids too, correct?
Yep.
Would that be considered the YA as well?
Yeah, and
we were kind of talking about the sci-fi fantasy aspect of a lot of this, right? So that's what you're met with when you first come in the door here.
Yeah, pretty much on the left here.
Right. And the kids that come in, are you kind of, the store wasn't geared towards this before, correct? This was like you doing this type of...
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the old store was, I guess it was a lot of everything for everyone.
Okay.
It did have a lot of kids' books, because we did a lot of business with kids' books.
You did. So it's always been a component then to the business.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The layout is nothing like it used to be.
Okay. But are these new shelving? Did you have to kind of... No, it's the same shelving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just used completely differently.
And you feel the flow, though, after a while, too. You know what I mean? When you're in a place like this for so long, you know what's best, I think, for the place. The chairs, are those new? That's a really cool reading section, actually.
The sofas here, all of this is new. All of this here. And the TV actually wasn't something we had when I first opened. Everything was kind of flipped this way, and it was more like a little living room.
Okay.
But I started offering a video game playing club on the weekends.
So let's take a look at that, actually. So, and this, so kids can come, where they sign in, and then...
We used to have like a little competitive type league thing, and people would sign in, and we did some competitions and gave out some gift cards and stuff like that. Now it's just, they're a pretty dedicated group. They just want to come and play Smash Bros. And just sit here for 2 hours and hang out. And
but that's awesome.
They come after school sometimes.
They do. Yeah. And so now is school close to here? Do the kids funnel through town?
Yep.
Oh, that's... Yeah, dude. I mean, really, have a bookstore in your town that you can hang out in after school is like gold.
Yeah.
Especially something like this. So this was you doing this. This wasn't here before.
Right.
Which was, I think, our generation's.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you want.
Yeah.
Right. And this is super cool, actually, up here. Do you do any type of speaking engagements for authors at all? Or?
We do author events,
because this totally looks like the type of pulpit almost. You can put them and put the chairs. Is this where you do it, or do you do it?
No. Usually we set up a table, and it's more of a meet and greet signing kind of thing. So originally, what I wanted to do was to actually have the store in 2 sections. Okay. Meaning from the cafe all the way to here.
Okay.
Would be nothing but seating. like a cafe.
Oh, that's totally okay.
You know, no shelving, no
Right.
selling space.
Okay.
And then have maybe like a gate or something, and then you would funnel through one entrance
Area.
into the retail space.
Okay.
I wasn't able to do that.
Right. But it's close to that now.
It is
I mean,
close,
you just
yeah.
have, there's only the dividing case here.
Right.
But you know what? This is such an inspired case for me, because this is like my, I love that genre, period. So when you walk in, it's just kind of inspiring, and it kind of follows the flow into the store.
Yeah.
And I kind of like how it's private over here.
Yeah.
You know, you've
Yeah.
got like this little like living room feel, and if you want to come here and hang out, you can, you know, without feeling like people are kind of listening to your conversation or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. I had kids in this morning, family going back home. They spent the holidays in Perry, and they were leaving today, and they just hung out for a couple
See?
hours, played
yeah,
Switch.
it just like beckons it. You know, you did a really good job. Is the wall color the same too, or did you change that? You did.
So my wall color is my brand color.
Oh,
orange
smart.
and gray.
Okay.
It's all on my logo and everything.
Right.
And so I had a graphic designer do my branding for me. You can see it on the menu there.
Yep.
And she picked those colors, and I remember she told me your colors are orange and gray. I was like, no, you need to go back and figure that out, because I'm not staring at orange and gray all day long.
Right. Yeah, but it works.
There's no way. And she's like, okay, well, here's the file, and you tell me. And I don't know how much money I cost myself, but I learned that I need to trust the professionals and get the hell out of my own way.
Yeah.
Because I did every permutation you could think of,
To try to figure out.
and they were all wrong. And eventually I was just like, she was right. It's orange and gray.
But it's an awesome logo. I mean, the logo is
Yeah.
fantastic. And so that was all her.
Well, the concept was mine, and I had sent her. I am a bit of an artist. Actually, I have one of my pieces hanging back there that I
get out of here.
illustrated, but it's a laptop and a book, sort of.
Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I didn't even see that. It is a laptop and a book. Oh, that's fantastic. It's perfectly simple too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot to own this, and we'll talk about it on the interview. You know, but at some point in your time here, you must have been like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and then you just had to bide your time, really, at that point. Because did you kind of anticipate this happening?
No.
You didn't. So
No.
it just fell in your lap.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was all like predetermined. Like you were here for a couple years and you're like,
No,
I'm just gonna ride this out, and then.
I think it was always in the back of my mind. Oh, I probably would have tried this, or I would have tried that.
Right.
But the old owner, she was very open to people's feedback.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so if we had an idea, she would, there were times where she would just flat out say, no, we're not doing that, we're going to do this.
She gave you the freedom.
But she did encourage that, yeah.
So you have some toys, I see, some educational toys, but the picture book selection's awesome. So if we can walk over here. And part of your job as an owner is to curate this selection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And to get these kids steered, right, in the right way. So that's...
So the process is, it's a little bit of, yes, I'm trying to not do too much of the mainstream stuff.
Right.
Although I do probably, if I were to look at my numbers, I probably sell more copies of something like Goodnight Moon than I do
just
anything
a typical
else.
classic, right?
Right. But it's also, it's based on how I think it looks. If I've read it and I like it, I'll try to get it again. And then it's also what I can afford at the time.
Sure.
That's that's another component.
Right.
So it's,
But I mean, it's a great selection of like the little plush toys, with, and this is what it's about. I mean, you don't want. I mean, you're gonna get the Goodnight Moon, that type of thing. But when you come to a store like this, your expectation, at least my expectation, is that this is you, this is your taste, and this is a higher level of quality. Do you know what I mean? Like these are all handpicked. It's your investment into your stock too. So that's the big. You're not carrying anything you don't believe in.
and that actually makes me kind of nervous, because I'm like, I know I like it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know if
the public will respond to. Well, there was a.
this stuff. This is stuff that I've added since, and I'm constantly experimenting with the lines that I carry. With whatever I can get through my distributors, just to see what works.
But as a business owner too, I mean, you just have to play and see. Like you never know, like what's going to stick. you know, and something that might not be so obvious is going to end up being like a key component to your entire business.
Right.
You know.
You know, funny story. I have LOL dolls. This is all I have left after the holidays.
Wow.
They're huge. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yep.
And so the company, to get those through, there's only one company to get them through. And when I first opened, it was so weird how it worked. I basically got an account with the company.
Okay.
And they said, give us a top 5 list of what you want from us, and we'll do our best.
Okay.
So I couldn't just order LOL dolls.
Yeah, you didn't have any discretion really.
And so I went and looked through their lines, and I'm like, oh, all I want are the LOL dolls, because that's what I know.
Right.
That's what I want to carry. That's what I want to sell. I'm like, okay. So I made a list, like they asked me to. And I ended up getting, and my list was basically only LOL dolls. And I ended up getting everything I asked for.
Oh, that's crazy.
But they said, we need you to buy this display of this other toy called Moj Moj.
Okay.
And it was like a $500 display. It was a huge thing, and it was full of these little squishy toys in a blind bag that I had never heard of.
Are those like they're kind of like rubbery, but they're not. But they like retain their shape for a couple seconds and they bounce back.
Yeah, and they're little
almost
sticky,
like a stress toy. Yeah. That's sticky.
But they're like little.
Yep.
And you don't know what you get till you open the package.
Yeah.
You know, and my kids didn't know about them. You know, and so I had to agree to it, and so I did.
Right.
And I had this giant display, and I remember the day before I was opening, I was, doing the finishing touches, setting everything up, and I put out this display, and I was looking at it, and I said, I'm never going to sell these. I'm stuck with whatever this is. It's my number one selling toy.
Oh, it was?
I've had to refill it several times.
Would you have them even here right now?
No, I'm sold out. I had a little display over here.
Oh, that's funny. So it's made by the same people who make the LOL. It's just an offshoot product that's taken off.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
Moj Moj.
Moj Moj. So in the toy selection, I mean, it's basically the back half of the front of the store, actually. So, I mean, it's good. And it's great to have here in Perry, to be able to walk up here.
Yeah.
And,
a lot of birthday gifts.
Yes.
A lot of grandmas are my bread and butter. They.
Well, and they're still, this is their way. This is the way they shop.
Right.
So, but I think the value inherently, like where you are, what's the population of Perry? It's about
like
3,000?
I think 3.
So, I mean, that's awesome that you can, and you're what? It's probably half mile long, the strip, maybe a little less.
Yeah, probably something like that.
So, I mean, it's relatively easy, super easy to get to, and you've got a decent population base, So, and the grandmas come in, and, and I'm sure the kids come in too, right?
Yes.
By their own.
Yeah.
Because that's the beauty of Perry as well.
Yeah.
Is that kids can still walk here and still feel safe.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge deal nowadays. Puzzles are a big one too. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and Ravensburger, I actually started carrying those because a very good customer of mine preferred them. I never actually heard of them before.
Yeah. There's a lady who owns Raff and Friends in Eastern Hills Mall, the Ravensburg. She was telling me about that too. Yeah, they're really popular actually. Yeah. Little Tykes you have, the more Melissa and Doug. So there's a really good selection in here, and you have games. So I didn't see any.
Some board games. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Apples to Apples, Clue, Monopoly, which we just played.
We've had
all through Christmas.
We have Jenga and Scrabble and Sorry and all. We try to carry as much as we can.
Yeah, that's a great selection. Now, did she carry this stuff before, or is this you? So it was more just hardcore books. Yeah.
So one of the benefits of being here for 11 years, big tourist community, from May to September.
Okay.
Lots of people visiting the park, staying on Silver Lake.
Right.
Would come in all the time looking for certain things, and it was always the same questions.
Right.
Do you have Monopoly?
Yes.
Do you have a puzzle? Something to do on the lake or while they're camping. I need a phone charger. I lost mine. It broke. That's where the tech of Biblio-Tech comes in.
Right.
And I also do like tech repair.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
So you fix computers?
Laptops, personal devices, software troubleshooting, screen replacement.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was wondering how I figured maybe internet, like.
That too. That's
so, so that's big in a town like this too.
Yeah.
Huge. Where are you going to go?
Right.
What's like the closest thing you're dealing with? Buffalo, suburbs?
There is a place in Geneseo, Book-Tech.
But I mean, you're here.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, man. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't see this.
And I do have a little bit of it up front too, by the counter.
You do?
Mostly iOS stuff up front. So actually, up until the holidays, that was a toy section.
Oh, it was. So do you change it out during? Will it be that way next year?
Well,
or
yeah. I mean, this is how much I sold.
Right. Yeah, it's gone
Before Christmas. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave it empty.
Right.
And filling the toys is a slow process.
Right. So these are new books.
So
or
these are used.
Used books.
These are all
Okay.
used.
Yeah. So literally, the store is half basically toys.
Yeah. Toys and books.
Yeah.
Kids books.
And games and all the whole thing. So and then so it's really toys, books, games, tech, comics. Right?
Cafe.
It's cafe. So for a town like this, you're kind of owning the roost on that.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But you have to have. I think this type of store. That's why when I called you, I thought it was so important because you have an ability here, much like Jacqueline does down at the Art Center, to define this town in a way and kind of push it in a. I know it was a bookstore before, but you're doing something different here, and something progressive, and something way more modern than what you would think would be here, and that's what they're doing down there. I see that all over Main Street here, and that mentality will. I mean, it probably already has drawn people, through here, and they're like, maybe we should look into moving here, because you're playing an important role.
Yeah.
By doing this. I mean, this isn't, the internet is the internet, but the ability to walk down to a cool place and hang out and to make it part of your community is a game changer.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing.
Yep.
And it's a huge investment. I mean, you guys are local, you live in town.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you're investing in your community more than anything. And you've been here for 11 years, so I'm sure you pretty much know everybody,
Yeah.
in town. So it's a close-knit community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I've worked with the schools, and it's very, very.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
done.
about that too, actually. So the school community and the bookstores work really well with the school. And then your comics, you said, these are your personal or?
So, it started out that way. So I've been collecting almost my entire life. I'm 42. I've been collecting for over 30 years.
Wow.
And I amassed, as you can imagine, a large collection. And I just figured, you know what? I have the shop. They are collectible. They are in fairly good condition. I might as well just put them on the shelf and see how it goes.
Right.
And they have been doing extremely well. So these are, right here, these are used books.
Okay.
And they are not really in any particular order.
Just random and.
Yeah, and I did do that on purpose. When I started out, I did start out putting them in alphabetical order.
Okay.
But there's so much stuff and it's so varied, I just wanted people to look through it. I didn't want people to just, I'm looking for a Stephen King. What do you have in Stephen King? That's all you have.
Right.
Okay. I wanted people to look through the shelves.
For summer reading at a cottage, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're going to blow through it in a couple days and you've got it. If I lived in town, this is somewhere that I would come ask you, what do you have? Or, you come here for a different reason, I think, right? This isn't like, Walmart or Barnes & Noble.
That's what I figured out.
Yeah.
And I do get people who do want to get certain things.
Right.
And they know they can order them. And they do come in and they order them. So I do a lot of special orders for new books.
Awesome. And that's, you get it in a day. Right. I mean,
it's usually about
2
3
days
days
or,
at the most.
But what you do have has been vetted again by you. And,
Yeah.
Right. It's tried and true. And is this broken up into a section too? There's this used as
It's
well.
all used.
So this whole, okay. So we've got the
Well,
layout.
actually, no. Yeah, see? So this shelf
Okay.
from here down is not used.
Okay.
It is mostly local.
Okay. Oh, local authors. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this is used. What's on the top here is used.
Okay.
What's on the outside here is used. What's on the other side is used.
But we've got local.
But this right here is local.
Okay.
And,
Awesome.
and odds and ends cookbooks and stuff like that.
Nice. Dude, it's a beautiful store. It really is. I'd say for the town and for what you're doing here, it's perfect. It's got a perfect feel to it,
Thank you.
It is. It's and then I love that up there
Yeah.
too. The fact that you have a bar is a big deal.
That's a holdover from the old business. And it's great looking. I mean, I didn't have to do anything to it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it lends itself perfectly to the shop and the cafe and, the design too. This was all pre-done because it kind of has that New York. This looks like a place you'd see in New York City. It does, like the Village or down on Elmwood in Buffalo, So
I do offer birthday parties.
that's big.
We're going to have a birthday party here this Sunday.
Okay.
Kids' birthday parties.
Okay.
And that we usually set up kind of back here, and it goes all the way up to the front, and the kids are going to be here playing video games, and
That's
you know, it's-
perfect.
yeah.
Because they don't have to worry about their house.
right.
It's got a
We
place
do all
to
the setup, all
go.
the cleanup. We take care of it all.
So what is it, like a all day, like a 3 hour?
Couple hours.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then they just contact you directly. You don't shut the place down. They're still.
Well, we're going to be doing it on Sunday, and the store is not open on Sunday.
Oh,
So it is a
okay.
private party.
That's awesome.
It doesn't have to be, but mostly that's how it works out.
Right. Again, for a town like this, it's perfect.
Yep.
It's a bookstore. It lends itself. You got more than enough space in here to accommodate them.
Yep. We can incorporate activities easily enough.
I was just gonna, yeah. So you can do pretty much any type of meetup.
Yeah.
Really. And,
Yeah.
you can book the place out.
Yep.
On top of it, you can just obviously come in here with a couple people and hanging out for hours and
Right.
doing your,
Yep.
you know, it's what this is about. That's why I said it was a communal. There's a communal aspect to a bookstore like this and a cafe that no other business really can replicate. Even just a coffee shop. Without books, not the same.
Yeah.
You know. So what else do you have up here? You got some beverages. I'd like to show this.
Yep, soda cooler, some snacks. I do try very hard to accommodate gluten-free and vegan diets.
Okay.
It's very difficult.
It is.
There aren't a lot of great options.
Yeah, but still to this, it's one of those odd markets that it's, not that it's hard to find products for because you can't find them, but I mean, you have to cater to that specific, you know, market, and you can only carry so much.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So-
these are locally made. I do
Awesome.
business with a couple of local bakeries, one restaurant.
Do you find that in Perry too? I mean, everybody's like, you know.
I try to do as much in Perry as possible. I mean, my build out was with Perry. The guy who painted my walls has a business in Perry. My furniture came from the furniture store in Perry. I try to do everything
Right.
local. My graphic designer who did my branding has her office down the street.